It was another beautiful day here in South Florida as the Phils got set for game number 2 against the Miami Marlins here at Marlins Park. The fans are filing in, and the Phils are hoping to turn things around. 17 wins. It's the least amount of victories in Major League Baseball. Now, the Phillies have these games against the Marlins. Then they play the Giants this weekend, at the Braves, at the Cardinals, and at the Red Sox. And only the Red Sox during this 15-game stretch are above the 500 mark at 27-23. So the Phils are hoping to get some victories beginning tonight against the Marlins. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with John Kruk. We've been talking about the struggles of the Phillies. This could be one of the worst Mays. Well, it is one of the worst Mays in Phillies history, but it could be the second worst record for the Phils in the history of the franchise. There's been a lot of problems for this team offensively, defensively, and even last night running themselves out of an inning.
Yeah, Aaron Altherr, he's a base stealer, and we know he can steal bases, but comes a time when you don't get a good jump, you have to stay. And last night was a perfect example of that. Volquez 1.46 to home. Good pitch for Real Muto to throw on, but still, if you don't think you have a good jump, you got to retreat, go back, one out, first and third, let Tommy Joseph, who's been the best RBI guy on this team in the last month, let him swing the bat instead. 2 outs, Joseph strikes out, inning over, we're still losing by 1.
All right, well, last night, Jeremy Hellickson did not have his best stuff again as he wrapped up his month of May. Vince Velasquez, though, coming off an outing where he was very positive with his approach and the way he was working around the strike zone.
Yeah, and he can throw strikes. That's the thing. I mean, first pitch strikes, he's one of the best in baseball, but Vince Velasquez is a guy that when he throws that fastball and he trusts it, it's electric. And he struck out some of the hottest hitters coming in. I mean, they scored a ton of runs in the first few games of this series against the Rockies, but Vince, you see the high fastball, hard to lay off of, hard to catch up to, and he has to do that. He got ahead of hitters with the fastball. He threw a couple breaking balls, got hits. Then after that, he said, you know what, I'm sticking with the fastball, and for good reason. 80% of retired first batters of an inning, 4th in all of baseball, but when he's ahead in the count, he'll give up home runs. He has to watch that tonight because the Marlins have some guys who can hit him, take him deep.
All right, he's only gone 7 innings one time this year, and it was actually in a game that he lost. He's hoping to get deep into tonight's game against the Marlins. It is game number 2 of this 3-game series. It'll be Velasquez against Justin Nicolino, who last year had one very strong outing against the Phils and one not so strong outing against the Phillies. Well, it's been a busy day here in South Florida. The roof is closed. It's cool inside. When we return, we'll go to the CSN studios. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. By Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. After the Marlins won last night's ball game, the Phils are looking to even up the series and end the month of May on a winning note. They're waiting for Justin Nicolino to take the field and get set. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Cesar Hernandez leads it off at second base, then Howie Kendrick and Aaron Altair. Tommy Joseph, the first baseman, bats cleanup, then Cameron Rupp and Michael Saunders. Ty Kelly hits seventh, Freddie Galvis eighth, and then Vince Velasquez will bat ninth. And they will face the left-hander, Justin Nicolino, who is still in the dugout. So this is a few minutes ago. It's Matt Stairs talking to Odubel Herrera and emphatically talking to him about certain things that he needs to look for as a hitter. Andres Blanco is translating for him. You know, Matt has done, and I know the numbers don't always say it, he's done such a good job with these guys communication-wise. It's just now getting it to go from the batting practice sessions into the game.
And no one wants these guys more so to do well than Matt Stairs. You know, he lives and dies with this offense, and he kind of, I think, feels partly responsible for a lot of things. And you know, it's not his fault. All you can do is instruct. Because we watched Franco take BP. His stride was toward home plate, more toward the pitcher and home plate than it was opening up and pointing more toward the third baseman, shortstop. But he hasn't been able to translate that into games, and that's been the issue.
Franco is off tonight, at least to start. He's feeling a little under the weather, but he did take batting practice today. And Pete Buchanan did say he's available to hit. That was Vince Velasquez roaming the dugout after getting himself loosened up. And Justin Nicolino making his third start of the season here in the big leagues. He made 7 starts down to the minor leagues. He's been back and forth between the minor leagues and the big leagues for the last several seasons. 0-1 with an ERA of 5.40, 6 walks and 13 hits in 10 innings of work. Now that hasn't meant much in recent games against the Phillies, but that's a lot of base runners. A lot
of base runners, and you saw lefties hitting 400 against him. So it's not like he's not an overpowering pitcher. You see the average velocity only 89.2 miles an hour, cutter curve change. But this is a guy that the Phillies have to be patient with. They have to make him throw strikes. And when he does, you better make him pay for it, because it seems like we have let these guys who haven't been having great years get off to great starts against our offense and just build that confidence moving forward.
Including Edinson Volquez last night. Now, he's a seasoned pitcher, but he had not won since August of last year, and he pitched 6 innings last night and was able to pick up the victory for the Marlins. Well, John, it's time for our Nissan keys to the game. What do you got tonight?
Well, I failed miserably at it, and I've tried everything. So I kind of just threw my car keys down on the grass and said, you know what, if you all want to help me out here with the keys to the game on Twitter, hashtag Phillies keys to the game, I'll take all the help I can get with this one.
All right, so we will present some of the fans' keys to the game as the night goes on. Early on, because by the time the night ends, we'll already know what the keys to the game are, if it's successful for the Phils. So have some fun with it, everybody.
Yeah, it's easy to have keys to the game in the 7th inning.
That's probably the best time to do it.
I think we should change that, maybe.
Well, here's Cesar Hernandez to lead things off.
I mean, I've tried everything.
Yeah.
Rally, get into a fight,
score early,
hit someone, dislike people, everything.
Now the Phillies enter tonight's game with a 6-20 record in the month of May, with 2 games left today and tomorrow. Here's Cesar Hernandez. He was 1 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. First pitch of the day is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Cesar overall hitting .286 with 5 home runs. He's hit it 9 straight against the Marlins, and he flares that one to right. Had a couple pitches, 1 away here in the first. Well, here's Howie Kendrick. Kendrick 1 for 4 last night, is hitting .326. Last night was his first game back off the disabled list. Career numbers against the Marlins. He is 1 for 5 lifetime against Nicolino.
Ball outside.
Thank you, Doug Eddings. Home plate umpire. You can hear him loud and clear.
We had a running conversation last night with Las Diaz behind the plate.
Eddings behind the plate tonight. Corey Blaster at first.
It's not like there's a lot of people sitting in the seats to dim the echo going through. It's just going to reverberate through the whole stadium.
Yeah, with the roof closed and the windows closed out in left center. Kendrick dribbles one foul. It's 1-2. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Russell Height. The Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Russell will win $200. Now at McDonald's, an ice cold delicious soft drink is only $1. I'm loving it. Inside, 2-2. Speaking of McDonald's, I don't know if you saw Jim Salisbury from CSN Philly, his tweet earlier today about his trip to McDonald's. Did you see that at all, John?
I did not.
It was very entertaining. Let me pull it up here off my my scribe. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He said, irony, you just ordered a Big Mac, and while waiting, your Fitbit buzzes and says, take me for a walk. Happened to me today. Surprisingly, it only got 2 retweets, but 46 likes. A bouncer foul, and it remains 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Kendrick. And how he grounds it out towards shortstop. I think he slipped a little bit in the batter's box. Retired by Riddle. 2 outs. And here's Altair. Aaron had the only RBI in last night's ball game. It was his 27th of the season. And 21 of those RBIs have come in the month of May. All the issues the Phillies have had. You know, he went through a little bit of a speed bump a couple weeks ago. He got himself out of it, though. Fastball in the inside corner. Nicolino will throw a fastball 52% of the time. His cutter 18% of the time. And the changeup about the same amount. He calls the changeup his baby. Said it's his best pitch. Well, Tug McGraw had nicknames for his pitches.
Well, probably reasons for that with Tug, but of course, perhaps Nicolino might have some Tug in him. Who knows? You know.
Off the end of the bat. Bohr's got it. Flips to Nicolino covering. 3-1 on the putout. Nothing across for the Phils in the top half of the first inning. Well, if your key was to get a run in the first inning, you have lost the contest. We'll go to the bottom of the first. First. So the Marlins set to bat. Let's take a look at their lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way You Experience TV. Well, it's pretty much the same lineup as last night, including D. Gordon and Giancarlo Stanton going 1 and 2. Still odd to see Stanton batting in the number 2 spot. They ride Riddle out there once again with Real Muto catching. And they will face the right-hander Vince Velasquez. Velasquez last time out, 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 strikeouts. And as Jim Salisbury said on CSNPhilly.com today, he's basically gone fastball, 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 which is okay because he has a good one.
And when it's put in different locations, down, down and away, down and in, up, up and away, it becomes 3 or 4 different pitches.
First pitch is a fastball upstairs to D. Gordon, who's hit in 8 consecutive games. See the scouting report on Velasquez. Gordon overall 278 with a home run and 9 runs batted in. And it's 1 and 2.
And now here's where he can elevate like he did against the Rockies. When you have 2 strikes, you expand your strike zone. And that high fastball looks so good coming in, but it has that little extra life when it's up higher. Give it a shot.
Down the left field line, Howie Kendrick on the run. Not a lot of foul territory, but he's got enough. And 1 away. The last time out, he threw the fastball 77% of the time. I mean, that's an awful lot for a 5-inning appearance. But it was effective.
It is, and that's what he has to do, I think, in order to keep the pitch count down. Now, he does get a lot of foul balls because of that high fastball. It is a pitch that you will get under and foul off a lot, but you know, he got Nolan Arenado 0-2 breaking ball base hit, and who hit in front of Arenado got the same thing, 0-2 with 2 fastballs. LeMahieu breaking ball base hit.
Actually, it was Ian Desmond that day.
Yeah.
Yep, it was Ian Desmond.
Desmond and then Nolan Arenado. And
it's a nice battle right here. Power on power. Now that fastball is at 93.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like a harder 93.
It does.
Like we watch some guys pitch, you think, wow, that's really 95. Are you kidding me? It doesn't look it. But Vince's 93 looks like 96 or 97.
Back to the screen. It remains 0-2. Stanton batting in the number 2 spot for the 6th consecutive games.
I mean, here's where you could take a shot on up and in and see if you can get Stanton to chase, and if not, then you go down and away, because he will chase that one if you can get it down and away.
And a strike 3 called. 95 right down the chute. And 2 outs here in the 1st inning.
Look, is it located where Cameron Rupp wanted it? He wanted it down and away. Got it stage center of the plate, but it's still a great pitch just because of the velocity. I mean, that's up more than Cameron wanted it. It's belt high, and I don't know if Stanton thought he's going to waste one or throw me a breaking ball, try to get me to chase.
He's throwing all fastballs.
And why throw anything else till they prove they can hit it?
So the numbers dictate that, you know, he's more successful with the fastball. 191 batting average against Velasquez's fastball. Out towards shallow center field. And Altair makes the catch. So just like Nicolino, it's a 1-2-3 1st inning for Vince Velasquez. 1 of the books. We'll head to the 2nd. 3 batters up for the Marlins, 3 batters down. We head to the seconds. All right, so some of the suggestions as far as our keys to the game go at Big Ed the drummer. Vince Velasquez, keep pitch count in control. Burn some innings, give the pen a break. I'll buy into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be nice to see Vince turn it over to Benoit and then to Hector Neris and finish this thing out. Got to score first.
Tommy Joseph leads it off here in the second. He's faced Nicolino one other time. He's walked against him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Man, my man is loud behind home plate, isn't he? I like it.
Shouldn't be any doubt what it is.
That one's hooked down the left field line, foul. We mentioned yesterday that Tommy Joseph was up, and we mentioned it during the open today. Tommy Joseph was up with Altair at first and a runner at third. Phillies down 2-1. Talking to Mickey Morandini today, you described the time for the pitcher to the plate, 1.46. As a chopper back toward the middle, backhanded by Gordon, and he throws in time to get Tommy Joseph. Mickey said 1.46 should be enough for Altair to get to second base. And we talked about not getting a good jump. Should you stop? And that's one thing that they've really started to push, is to, if you don't get a good jump, know it and stop and then go back and then maybe do it again.
Yeah, you don't have to go. There's no one making you run. If you don't feel like you're going to make it, then you got to put the brakes on and stay right there.
Cameron Rupp batting 5th tonight, and he fouls that off the screen. Bouncer again back toward the middle, and again Gordon is there, and again he throws out the runner. 2 outs. Well, I guess you could say he hadn't played perfectly.
Yeah, he didn't have to move much, did he? Former shortstop, so he has the arm strength.
He used to work out at shortstop in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park because his dad, of course, was with the Phillies, and he was a little bit of a thing when he was doing that, but they speculated that he would be drafted out of high school. And it turns out that not only was he drafted, but he's turned into a pretty decent pro, aside from the 50-game suspension last year.
Yeah, that was disappointing. That's the beauty of this whole shift thing. Dietrich was playing up in case of bunt. Now it's 0-1. And Dietrich switches plays with Riddle. Are you not allowed to bunt with 1 strike, or?
Well, you should know that better than anybody. You're right. He probably could still do it. Breaking ball. Well, Riddle was a better 1-strike bunt defender.
Honest to goodness, if you look at where they're playing, you're a major league hitter, and the pitcher's pitching you away with every pitch so far.
Back toward the middle again for the 3rd time. This time Nicolino flags down the hardest hit ball of the inning, and he throws out Saunders. So the lefty has retired the first 6 batters that he has faced. We'll move to the bottom of the 2nd here in Miami. welcome in the San Francisco Giants to start a 3-game series. African-American Heritage celebrations take place at the ballpark. Plus, Saturday at 4:05 after the game, the Avett brothers will perform at a post-game concert. Sunday, all fans 14 and under will receive the Michael Franco batting gloves. Compliments of Tasty Cake. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Velasquez will begin the second against Marcell Ozuna. Marcell 0 for 4 last night, now 0 for 12 against the Phillies. And 0 for 19 against them dating back to last year.
There's that off-speed pitch.
Up and in, 2 balls and 1 strike. That ball's well hit deep to left field. Kendrick going back, and it is gone. 13th home run of the year for Marcell Ozuna, and it's his first hit of the season against the Phils. And it's 1-0 Marlins. .90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, that's. See where Cameron wants his pitch down and away. Ozuna can catch up to that high inside when he said 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Ozuna didn't miss that one, did he?
He did not. You know, the one pitch he threw to Giancarlo Stanton early in his at bat, he missed where Cameron wanted it away, and it came up and in, and Stanton just missed it. That was 93, 94.
Yeah.
One ball, 1 strike to Bohr. Marlins team batting average since the middle of May is over 300 as Bohr rockets one out toward right over the head of Saunders. The throw to second base, they may have him up. It's a wide throw, so Bohr is in safely and standing. 7th double of the year for Justin Bohr. Oh, it had to happen quickly, but they did have a shot to get Justin Bohr at second base.
Yeah, they did, and again, another mislocation. Rupp wants it down, it's up, down and away. It's tough to reach. Up and away, you can get to it. That ball kind of hit that chain link fence that protects those signs. It deadened it. That ball bounces back. Saunders had more of a shot to get him, but throw off line, and we got a runner on second, no outs. Got to execute. Keep it a 1-run game.
With JT Realmuto coming up. It's a long conversation between Velasquez and Rupp as the home plate umpire Doug Eddings comes out to break it up. Bob taking a peek in. Realmuto is a tough guy with the runner in scoring position. Overall, he's hitting .300, but with runners in scoring position, he's hitting .361. Remember, he was red hot the first month of the season and has still been able to keep his average at or above .300. Fly ball right center field. Long run for Altair. He covers ground so well. Bohr will go to third. Real Muto did get his man over to third base with less than 2 outs. And now Derek Dietrich is coming up.
Yeah, that's a great piece of hit by Real Muto right there. But this is another pitch that Cameron wanted in. Got to try to get him to try to pull the ball in this situation so you don't get Bohr over to third base with less than 2 outs. And he couldn't get it there. And the trainer's coming out to look at Vince.
Yeah, Scott Sheridan's trotting out. Pete McCadden, Bob McClure. You kind of thought that there was something going on when Cameron was out there for so long on the first trip. We did not see anything, and the velocity has been, similar to other outings. Some of his fastballs have been 90, 91.
Well, you don't like this with Vince talking.
Oh yeah, he's out
to the trainer, and then Pete turns around and talks to Bob McClure and say, who do we want, or who should we get up?
Here's the fly ball for Real Muto. Right there, he grabs his hip, his right hip. All right, so the Phils will go to their bullpen a whole lot earlier than they expected. Mark Leiter pitched in last night's game. He only pitched an inning. He's essentially the long man, but they could use somebody else just to get through this inning until Leiter is totally warmed up, although because of an injury he gets as much time as possible.
And you wonder if, some guys are down there, but you got to figure that some of the guys might not be down in the bullpen yet.
I think it is Leiter. Yep, here he comes. So we'll step aside here in South Florida. The Marlins up by 1. We'll be back with a new pitcher right after this. with one man down. Phils fans can't get in front of the TV for every game. No problem. Always stay connected to your team with the NBC Sports app. Download and live stream every CSN Phillies game on the go. Well, Vince Velasquez has left tonight's game with an injury here in the second inning. We'll try to get you an update as soon as we have one. And Mark Leiter Jr. into his 11th game. This is the earliest he has entered a game. He has an ERA of 3.38, and because of the injury, he'll get as long as he needs to get himself warmed up. He did no warming up except for his early work today before he stepped on the mound. In fact, his spikes weren't even tied properly, and he was able to get those all wrapped up. While we're standing by and Leiter's warming up, it's time for our cold hard fact. Here's Greg Murphy.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Presented by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And, well, the Phils, they are 12-12 in their 24 games against teams from the NL East. The other 25 games that the Phils have played, they are just 5-20 against teams outside the NL East. The Phils are one of 16 teams in Major League Baseball and one of 8 teams in the National League that are at 500 or better against their division. 12-12 versus the NL East, but, yep, just 5-20 against the rest of the league. Therein lies the problem, guys.
Yeah, usually the issues, I mean, not usually, but sometimes the issues lie within the division because you're facing those teams so often.
Held their own against the Washington Nationals.
Yeah. Well, Leiter is ready to go. Derek Dietrich is the batter. The infield is drawn in with a runner at third. Not all the way in because Bohr gives them a little bit of an advantage that they can play back a few steps. Dietrich is hitting .227 with 2 homers and 13 runs batted in.
Surefire sign that they're not squeezing on this pitch is when the third base coach Freddie Gonzalez has to whistle for Dietrich to look at his sign. That's not a red light, is it?
Leiter's been very good for the Phils, including last night pitching a scoreless inning. There have been a lot of really good stories about Leiter since his call up. One story in particular that stood out was by Steve Edelson from the Asbury Park Press.
Freddie Gonzalez keeps getting signs from Mattingly.
Late.
And Dietrich ain't even looking at him. And Freddie starts going through the signs.
Cesar. A run will score. Cesar had plenty of time to get in front of that. Bohr wasn't going, and he would have had the out at first base. That will have to be an E4.
Yeah, you would think.
I didn't even think he'd give Dietrich an RBI on that.
It's a long hop, and you know that's one. Yeah, I don't know if Cesar thought he was running. Bohr was running, and he had to catch it backhand to be quick to home. But I mean that's one you got to knock it down one way or another. What did they score that?
It has been scored an E4. So it's 2-0 Marlins. And here is JT Riddle. He's stepping out and getting the signs, John.
Yeah, it was funny because Freddie started going through signs, and then he just put his hands up like, all right, you're not looking. Why should I give signs?
1 ball, 1 strike to Riddle. Anyway, the story on Leiter that Steve Edelson from the Asbury Park Press wrote was about his dad, Mark, who even in high school felt like young Mark could pitch in the big leagues, even though he was throwing 84, 85 miles an hour as a senior in high school. 1-2. Mark said that his dad used to tell him that hey, you know, if you spot your fastball, if you spot your secondary pitches, you can compete in the big leagues. And Mark Jr. said that he used to laugh about it because it was, you know, nobody else would tell him that, but his dad would tell him that. And he progressed as he went to college at NJIT and eventually in the minor leagues. And now he's here in the big leagues, throwing in the low 90s with excellent secondary pitches and a real good idea of what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, you know, he'd been out of this inning. Cesar makes this catch, but you know he has a great split finger, and that's it right there. Once you get ahead, you expand the strike zone of the young hitters.
Well, now Nicolino, who's 0 for 3. One ball and no strikes. Mark Leiter is 26 years old. In the minor leagues, he had a 27-22 lifetime record and an excellent ERA of 3.38. And it's 2-2.
You know, he's a guy when you bring him in and he gets 2-0 on a hitter, you don't fear like, oh boy, he's lost this guy already. You know, he has that ability to throw strikes, not on command, but I mean, got a feeling he ain't going to walk him.
A little tapper back to the mound. Leiter has it. And the inning is over. But the Marlins do score 2 runs in the inning. 1 earned, 1 unearned. We'll head to the third. Phil's down 2-0. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. John, the question is, who holds the Marlins record for most times hit by a pitch in one season? The Marlins record for most times hit by a pitch in one season.
Is he here today?
He is here today.
So that means he's probably playing.
He is playing today. Some people even today would probably want to hit him. Here's another key to the game. Small ball, steal a base or 2. And in Pete we trust. It's still only May. Turn this around. Well, I think that's the hope, is that it's been a rough May where the Phillies have won 4, won 6, lost 20. It is the second worst winning percentage in the history of the Phillies in the month of May to the 1928 team that was 3-22. But that there is hope that this young team will figure something out as the season moves on.
They'd still like to hit him? Is that what you said?
Yes, I'm being facetious, but there probably is somebody that would like to hit him tonight.
Ball outside.
Michael Franco having the night off, not feeling well. Ty Kelly takes a strike, 1-1. Kelly starting at third base tonight.
Now I can focus on the game.
He's got the right answer. Up the third base line, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Easy, Sammy. Don't get. Oh, good play. Now you see how he got in front of that ball, won somewhere on that scorcher.
Could always defend.
That rocket down there
Yep.
at him.
Could always defend. I would have liked to have seen him charge it a little bit,
but you notice how he backed up, waited for it to almost stop. Wise in it. Wise in his elder years.
Had his knee brace on today, his knee wrap, get himself ready for the game.
He hasn't been getting many visitors, has he?
No, he is not. And he wants to chat with some people. He doesn't mind it. Ground ball right side. Bohr has it. Only 1 ball out of the infield so far. That was the fly ball by Cesar. Here it is.
Okay, look at him. Back up, back up, back up. There you go.
Wow, he is so smooth.
So you tell him that this is how you do it. You tell him Laz Diaz, this is how you catch a ball.
I thought about that combination tonight over at third base. The fact that Sammy is there with Laz Diaz. There's going to be a lot of talking going on down there. Freddie Galvis takes on the outside corner. He was 0 for 3 last night. '25-year-old Justin Nicolino from Orlando, Florida. Drafted by the Blue Jays out of high school and decided not to sign with the University of Virginia and signed for a little less than $700,000 with the Blue Jays. Was part of the 12-player deal that brought him from Toronto to Miami. Nice play by the ball boy.
Now when you watch a young kid like that sitting on a stool, don't you think that it shouldn't be that hard? I mean, he just nonchalantly reached, while he's talking, nonchalantly reached out, catches a hard hit line drive, barely off his stool.
You don't think he's a little nervous? That's a big hop for Riddle. And Freddie Galvis is safe at first. Phillies do not have a hit so far. And Freddie's hustle up the first base line put a little pressure on Riddle on that.
That's the one thing you're going to get from Freddie. As bad as things are going, the hustle parties, he hasn't stopped hustling, and that's just pure hustle. You see Riddle kind of gets underneath that ball and kind of takes off on him, and Bohr did everything he could. Try to get the tag, but Freddie just too quick.
It is an E6 as Leiter shows bunt, takes inside 1-0.
Make them pay. Let's go.
Well, that was one of the keys that was issued tonight. Steal some bases. And Leiter bunts at it, misses.
Yeah, I doubt you see Freddie run with Mark Leiter up. Give him a chance to get the ball down.
Leiter 2 for 15 in the minor leagues. 0 for 1 in the big leagues at the plate. Phillies pitchers have been, and Leiter's included in this because he's the long man, They've been working back home on being better at sacrifice bunts because they have been so poor at it this year. Square in one more time.
Absolutely. Now, who teaches the bunt?
I think it's Boa, isn't it?
I would imagine him or Mickey.
It's Boa or Mickey. They're both out there going over it. It used to be Pete when Pete was Ryan Sandberg's bench coach. I know Boa's manning the machine because the other day somebody kicked the cord out of the dugout. I think it was Video Dan may have kicked the cord out of the dugout and stopped the machine. The Emmy award-winning Video Dan Stevenson.
Clutch. Not clutch. Clutch.
Well, some of his videos have been clutch.
He's excellent at that, but walking, issue.
With obstacles.
Yeah, cord.
And a strike 3 called. Leiter is down looking. First strikeout for Nicolino. And 2 away here in the 3rd. Our local Tri-State GMC dealers pitchcast.
Could have been either way.
Tell you, watching that ball, its trajectory to the plate, I didn't think it had a chance to get to that box.
Like you said, it could have gone either way. How we doing?
Went the wrong way.
Yeah.
All right, Cesar flied out.
Just hit a gapper.
83-mile-an-hour changeup. Out toward left field and right at Marcell Ozuna. Fights the lights, makes the catch. No runs, no hits. 1 man left because of 1 error by the Marlins. Middle of the 3rd, 2-0. Your local Chevrolet dealers. Bottom of the 3rd, Phillies trail at 2-0. Mark Leiter on in relief of Vince Velasquez, who left with an injury in the second. Will face the top of the order: D. Gordon, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich. Starting, and this is essentially a start for Leiter, although he probably won't go as deep as he would have if he was stretched out from the beginning. But this kind of situation is not a big deal for him. He made 69 starts during his minor league career, and for a bulk of his time in the minors, he was a starting pitcher. D. Gordon bounces it foul.
And he was starting before he got called up?
Not this year. No, he was relieving this year, but last year he was a starter.
So he's not stretched out, so he's probably looking at, what, 3 max?
I'd
maybe?
say 3 or 4. Yep, I would agree with that. I wonder about, just throwing last night, if that's going to have any effect on him going 3 or 4 tonight.
He doesn't seem to be quite the guy that would say anything, does he?
I don't think so. That's going to be a tough play. Ty Kelly will not get a chance to get Gordon, who now stretches his hitting streak to a season high 9. Matches the one he had earlier this season. Made a couple good pitches to Gordon too, and it's unfortunate that he was able to get the bat on the ball. And they got to keep an eye on his speed over at first.
And you also got to make sure you don't pay way too much attention to D. Gordon to make a mistake to this man. Or else it could be 4-0 in a heartbeat.
Out to right field. That's well hit. Saunders going back. It's over his head and over the wall. A 2-run opposite field home run. And the Marlins now lead it 4-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Home run number 14. 37 ribbies now for Stanton. Wow, that's center cut.
Yeah. Normally you would think he's going to pull that one, but maybe that's why they have him second. He's just trying to hit behind the runner.
Get him over to
Lord.
3rd.
What a monster he is.
Yelich takes strike 1.
I mean, he looked like he was like backing up when he hit that.
He put on a display at BP, which he normally does, at least when we've watched. He hit one today over the Budweiser sign in left center field, beyond the Clevelander. And he also hit one to straightaway center field where the center field cameras are. He hit it into that room where the cameras are. Right there. There's a baseball in there. There's some marks too.
Ball outside.
2-2 to Yelich. He's one of those guys that people do, stop and watch during batting practice. Other players on the other team. Close pitch, 3-2. That is a fair ball sprayed down the left field line. Yelich will get to second. 3 straight hits for the Marlins. Well, Giancarlo Stanton hit a blast tonight, but on Saturday, Mike Trout, I mean, he murdered this against Vance Worley. Oh. That's about where Giancarlo Stanton's ball went today during batting practice. That was the day before Trout went down with his thumb injury. Bob McClure out to talk to Mark Leiter. Now Stanton's made it a 4-0 game, and now Yelich follows it up with an opposite field double.
Ain't looking good, is it?
It's not. All right, just got to bear down here and try to get the out. Ozuna homered his first time up. Up and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
See if the Marlins are still going to play ABC baseball.
If Ozuna has the ability to pop it the other way to try to drive Yelich home, or even at least get him over to third.
Your 4th hitter, he's already got 1 home run. Maybe they say, let's try to put this thing out of reach.
Inside, 2-0. Here's that home run. It came in the 2nd inning against Vince Velasquez.
Yeah, that's when Vince's velocity started dropping a little bit. And that, normally, if it's rushed up there at 94, 95, that might get in on him, pop it up, or get by him. Just didn't have that same pop on his fastball as he did the 1st inning.
Sharply to the left side. That's a base hit. Yelich will have to stop at third. And Ozuna's 2 for 2. That's 4 consecutive hits against Leiter. And runners on first and third here in the 3rd. Boy, if ever Mark Leiter can use a double play ball, it's the moment is right now.
But if you're the Phillies, can you live with a double play ball to give them another run?
Oh, that is true.
You know, can they score 6?
You do have to look at it that way, because the team has struggled so much to score runs. Now they're going to play back to try to turn 2. Board doubled to right field his first time up over the head of Saunders. Follow Phillies baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
How about a strikeout and a double play?
That'll work. 3-2. Joely Rodriguez starts to warm.
We know what happened there. Timeout was called in case anyone didn't hear it.
Really loud.
Burst your eardrums loud, ain't it?
I like it. It's like Dutch Rennert loud. Ball 4. That'll load the bases up. And still nobody out here in the 3rd. And JT Realmuto is the batter.
I wonder if Joely's up for Dietrich and Riddle, 2 lefties.
I would think so.
Let's worry about this guy first. Altera had to make a good play to keep him off the bases last at bat.
See if Mark can make that pitch, though, to get the outs here. With the bases loaded, the Phillies will shorten up to double play depth up the middle. Down 4-0 already here in the 3rd. Doesn't have the same command that we've seen in his last several relief appearances.
No, and you wonder if that's a little bit of fatigue pitching last night.
Through today, like all relievers do. That one is back toward us. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he's the baseball player, right?
Yeah, my son Tommy's up here in the booth.
Got a bad breed on that one.
I knew it wasn't going to come up here.
He did, and he plays.
Yeah.
We're old.
And our eyes should not be able to see that that's short like that.
I'm gonna have to work with him on that tomorrow. Well, it was either he gets it. I was gonna let it hit me. Put me out of my misery at some point.
The camera would have been on you for that.
That's fine. Here, take my glass off. Right there. Just right there.
That may have knocked you out.
That'd be good. Maybe it'll turn our luck around.
Inside, fades inside, 2-2. Totally different situation for Leiter coming in here today than it was even last night. And it was only for 1 inning last night. Asking him for a little bit more here today.
All inside.
Now 3-2.
3-2.
Just missed low. Ball 4. That'll force it a run. And still nobody out here in the 3rd. 5-0 Marlins, and Pete McCannon's coming out. Back-to-back walks for Mark Leiter. Our pitch cast. Boy, right at the bottom of the strike zone. Awfully close.
Yep, could go either way. It's not going our way.
Joely Rodriguez will take over with the bases loaded and nobody out. The Marlins on top 5-0. We'll be back to South Florida right after this. Coming up at Citizens Bank Park. Post-game fireworks shows coming up at Citizens Bank Park. Sponsored by Xfinity. Thursday, July 6th, when the Phillies take on the Pirates. That's a 6:05 start. Friday the 7th at versus San Diego is a 6:35 start. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. This conversation's been going on since Mark Leiter left the game with Bob McClure. And now Joely Rodriguez will take over. Rodriguez 1-2 with a 6.38 ERA. So Derek Dietrich is the hitter. Dietrich has 4 RBIs this year with the bases loaded. 3 hits and 5 at bats. And he is up now. And he swings at the first pitch. It's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Anytime at all with the Padres, the Phillies, the White Sox, have you faced a run like this?
No, I don't think so.
It just seems like anything that the Phillies have tried with this current roster of players just isn't working.
Yeah, we say it pretty much on a nightly basis. Pete's trying to mix and match and do whatever he can to try to get the offense going. Just nothing is working right now for this team.
No balls, 2 strikes to Dietrich. That was a ball out of his hand, and it's 1-2.
Or as some really good pitchers told me, a non-competitive pitch.
Yeah. Hey, you might be able to get Dietrich to fish after an 0-2 pitch with that arm angle. Like there. I mean, that's a good 0-2 pitch. First out is finally recorded with the bases loaded. And here's Riddle.
Yeah, great pitch. Nice slider by Joely, down and away. Perfect. Just perfect. So you hear the walk-up music for JT Riddle. You wonder if Cameron Rupp might think he's hit. Because that's his same.
That is true. It is his song.
Little John Pardee song. Little song. It's doing well.
Over to the right side, and that's through the hole into right field. 1 run is in. That's all they'll score on that base hit. An RBI single, 6-0 Marlins. That run charged to the line of Mark Leiter. Now the bases remain loaded. Nicolino's probably thinking this is like Christmas. He has a 6-run lead.
And again, ball not hit hard, just hit in the right spot. Well, luckily, Bourne was on second, who's not that swift, or it could have been 7-0 right now. Because you thought, you know, with the pitcher coming up, you're asking D. Gordon probably to get a 2-out hit. And Freddie Gonzalez might have sent Bourne if it was what?
Well, that's odd. Oh, that's even odder. 1 run is in. Riddle stops at third. An error charge to Cameron Rupp. It's 7-0 Marlins.
That's what I mean. Even when the other teams does something really stupid.
Something happened to Nicolino as he went to second base.
Took his glove off. Looked like he's flexing his left hand. It's the last thing he wants. 6-0. The last thing he wants to have to come out of this game.
Yeah, you see, he's not reacting in a positive way.
Watch Cameron's right foot when he steps on the base. Or his left foot. His left foot slid when he was striding out. Caused the high throw.
Let's take a look at this bunt. It might have hit the finger of Nicolino. Oh my, I think it did.
Yeah, it did.
I think it hit one of those digits.
He went right away. I mean, the thing is now, how are you going to know if he's all right? He's not like they'll let him throw a ball right now.
Yeah.
I mean, as generous as we've been in this game today, they might let him. What the heck?
I mean, it's the index finger too, which he can't pitch with if it's a damaged index finger. He'll stay in the game at least to run for the moment. So sacrifice, or excuse me, fielder's choice. E2. No RBI. And Gordon, who started this rally, how about that? Remember, he started this rally with that little tapper with 2 strikes to the third baseman.
That was this inning?
That was this inning. One ball, 1 strike.
I just so confused with Nicolino bunting with the bases loaded, but maybe thought, well, this is the best way for me to stay out of a double play, maybe.
It had to be on his own.
I don't know. I guarantee it, D. Gordon's going to get us something to hit here. With that large man coming up behind him.
Mm-hmm. Don Mattingly, his 7th year as a skipper, first with the Dodgers and now with the Marlins.
One's out.
Boy, I'm surprised that he threw him that pitch.
You throw 2 here and see how far D. Gordon can hit it. If he hits it out, so be it.
The other part of it too is if you're calling the pitches, as McGowan's warming up in the bullpen for the Marlins, Joel's not as fine as you would like a pitcher to be, so you can't say, all right, we'll tell you with this one, because he'll come back and throw a couple more for a strike, which he has done, but he hasn't often done this year.
Well, you got to love the insight of Don Mattingly getting a guy up. He doesn't Nicolino goes out and can't throw a pitch, then you have to bring McGowan in, and he gets as many throws as he wants. See? So that's where you speed the game up there.
That's right.
Well, you know, Donnie coached for Joe Torre, and Joe's on the rules committee, so I'm sure they had that discussion.
Through the hole, toward the hole on the right side. Diving stop by Cesar, and he throws out D. Gordon. 4-3 on the putout, and the side is retired. However, the Marlins score 5 runs in the inning on 5 base hits. We'll head to the 4th, possibly with a new pitcher. Avery shipping labels. That's right. Add a little splash, add a little color. Where do you get them? You can get them at WB Mason. Visit WBMason.com today. Top of the 4th inning, Marlins 7, Phillies nothing. And Dustin McGowan will indeed take over for Nicolino. Nicolino leaves with an apparent injury to his index finger. He did not allow a hit. He allowed just 1 base runner in 3 innings of work. He struck out 1, did not walk anybody. And here's McGowan in his 17th game, 1-0 with an ERA of 3.97. And he will face Howie Kendrick, Aaron Altair, and Tommy Joseph. Howie grounded out his first time up. He grounded out to shortstop. McGowan was throwing in the bullpen, but because of the injury, he will get a little extra time. In the dugout, Don Mattingly is talking to Freddie Gonzalez, the 3rd base coach for the Marlins. In fact, that conversation just broke up. They had to be talking about Nicolino bunting, right? I mean, that had to be the conversation.
I would think. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else they could. I mean, maybe do you send Bourne or Bohr on that base hit?
I don't know.
By Riddle? I mean, I have no idea. I would bet that it was. What do you think he was thinking?
What do you think he was thinking? Like, did you give him that sign? Which Freddie, I mean, would never give that sign. Talking to Brian Schneider, former Phil's catcher.
Former Philly great Brian Schneider. Didn't he have relatives in the area?
He does.
From the area?
Yeah. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Well, Don has a 7-run lead.
Look at him. 7 runs.
He's turning gray as we speak. Meanwhile, the Phillies hitters, who have not managed to hit tonight, will face a new pitcher. Every time we think that we have not reached rock bottom as a team, it's
we got the big excavator out, don't we?
Seriously.
Just keep digging it deeper.
So now Kendrick will lead it off here in the 4th. And Howie takes a strike. It's 0-1. Out to center field. That's pretty well struck. Yelich going back. It is gone into the bushes. A solo home run for Howie Kendrick. That's the first hit, the first run of the night for the Phils. It's now a 7-1 ball game. Well, that's the first home run of the season for Kendrick, and it makes a winner out of Russell Height of Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania. He's won $200 in the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Gallen tried to throw that little slider and it just hung center of the plate. Nice swing by Howie. Nice little bit up, but great trajectory on that line, or that fly ball to dead center. Here we go. Hey, why not?
Why not?
I mean, wouldn't you think we'd be due to come back from 7 down?
It might erase a little bit. By the way, that was an 0-2 pitch that McGowan gave up that home run to Kendrick.
We haven't seen that before, have we?
1 ball, 1 strike to Altair. And a base hit into left field. So back-to-back hits for the Phils here in the 4th inning. Boy, it would be appropriate, wouldn't it?
That's amazing. Nicolino throwing 90, 91 with a changeup and a breaking ball. We hit 9,000 ground balls off of him, and
yeah, there was only the 2 balls hit out of the infield for outs, and the 1 ball that Freddie Galvis reached on the errant throw by Riddle. But that was the only positive in the first 3 innings against Nicolino. Tommy Joseph grounded out his first time. He's 0 for 1. Back toward the middle. Man, oh man, did that take a room service hop for D. Gordon. That ball was hit right on the nose by Tommy Joseph, but it turns out to be a 4-3 double play. I mean, the back of the mound served it perfectly to D. Gordon. That is our State Farm double play. State Farm here to help life go right.
Yeah, probably the easiest turn that D. Gordon will ever have to make. It hits the front of the mound, kicks up right to his chest like he's playing catch with someone, and an easy turn for D. Gordon. That's our State Farm double play.
And Cameron Rupp takes strike 1. I mean, that ball was hit right on the nose.
Right on the screws.
Corey says he went around.
We're on a first name basis now with the umpires.
Doug signaled.
Doug signaled to Corey, and or actually he didn't even signal. He just yelled at him.
And Cameron Rupp went fishing and didn't catch anything. He's down on strikes. 1 run on the home run by Howie Kendrick. 2 hits. Middle of the 4th. 7-1 Marlins. Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Buy Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEFF-NOW or visit jefferson.edu. And buy your local Ford store. Check out every new Ford car, truck, and SUV crossover at buyfordnow.com today. Bottom of the fourth inning. Yes, that score is correct. The Phillies trail at 7-1 as the Marlins scored 2 in the second, 5 in the third. And now as we begin the fourth, it'll be Giancarlo Stanton to lead it off. He homered his last time up. This time facing Joely Rodriguez. Phillies, by the way, are probably going to have to bring somebody up tomorrow. With Leiter going tonight, even though he was only charged with 2/3 of an inning. And Joely pitching here, and Joely's probably going to have to pitch a little bit. And maybe they can get through it. They've got Nola going tomorrow against Straley.
And it goes without saying that Aaron Nola is going to have to be really good and go for a really long time tomorrow.
He was excellent the other day. Unfortunately, actually the first 2 starts he was pretty good. 2-2. There's Straley. What do you think is more surprising? I don't think anybody picked the Phillies to win the division. And some folks thought they would be a 500 team, probably better than last year record-wise. But do you think that their struggles are more surprising, or the Marlins being second to last in the East?
Well, the Marlins, without question.
And I'm not trying to put the conversation onto another team, and we know what the Phillies' limitations are.
I mean, both teams are disappointing, but some people thought the Marlins might have a chance to contend with Washington, with the Mets. But this offense is, I just think this offense is too good.
I would agree.
Especially, they're going to get Prado back, and that's going to help them a lot. But I just thought this offense would be so much better. Thought their pitching staff would be, keep us in the game good enough.
Yeah, I thought their bullpen was solid.
Yeah.
Luis Garcia is trying to get a rock out of his glove, and then he'll start warming up for the Phillies. Yeah, I think that I agree with you. I think they've been shockingly below average this year. I mean, considering they have 3 guys that have 30 RBIs or more, or 35 RBIs or more, and they're one of only 5 teams in baseball to have that offensively. Three and 2 to Yelich. Cameron a little frustrated that ball didn't stay in his glove. Tapper right side. Tommy Joseph will charge. He's going to have to hurry just in time to get Yelich. Marlins, the first 18 games, a lot like the Phillies. Phillies were 10-9, and the Marlins 10-8. They were 10-10 when they left Philadelphia, and after going 10-8 to start the season, 9-22. Really, it's been the pitching that's taken the turn. Marcell Ozuna is 2 for 2.
Well, you think about it, if Edinson Volquez was a 500 pitcher right now, they'd have, that's 3 or 4 more wins.
Yeah, and the 5th spot in the rotation has been all over the place for them. There's Volquez, who won yesterday. So Nicolino, we're just told, did indeed leave with a contusion to his left index finger.
And still no word on Vince.
Nothing on Vince Velasquez yet. Saw him grab his hip. I mean, that could mean anything. It could mean back, it could mean oblique, it could mean anything. One ball, 2 strikes to Ozuna. Craig Murphy does indeed have an update on Velasquez. Dr. Murphy, what do you have?
Yeah, this just coming across. It is a right elbow flexor strain for Vince. So I thought it was a hand issue. You guys were saying hip, but the right elbow flexor strain. That's not good.
No, that's not good. Back toward the middle, another base hit for Ozuna. 2-out single. And that'll bring Justin Bour to the plate, who has doubled and scored. And was thrown out on a bunt attempt by Nicolino his last time up. Pretty good addition full time for the Marlins this year. Justin Bour, Murph. I mean, last year he was hurt. They felt like that really hurt them because he was out of the lineup.
Yeah, you know what? And full time is what it's all about for him, because last year he split time with Chris Johnson, and you didn't see a whole lot of time against the left-handers. This year they said to him, look, you are our first baseman, and he has really he's really given them reason to believe that he can be that guy going forward. The month of May, how about him leading all first basemen in average home run, in slugging percentage as well? And you look at the numbers this year versus left-handed pitching: 324, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. That's in 39 plate appearances this year. Right-handers, you see 265, a little bit less, but you would imagine those numbers will start to come back to where he normally is. Last year he only got about 35 plate appearances all season long against lefties. So this year they're trusting him to be able to be an everyday player, and he certainly has produced. You know, there's so many good first basemen in the National League putting up very, very good numbers, but he has had simply one of the best Mays of any first baseman in the National League and in Major League Baseball for that matter, and he is really starting to open some eyes here in Miami.
And even though he's a big fella, I mean, his defense has been pretty good around first base. He moves well around first base. And he certainly hits well. Back toward the middle, another base hit for him. Ends for the Marlins.
Well, that's one of the most interesting things and mystifying things to me with baseball is how a guy is an everyday player in the minor leagues, and then to get to the big leagues, he can't hit lefties.
Because he's going to face a balance throughout his minor league career. It is odd. And it's not like there's overwhelming flexibility all the time on a major league roster. Joely Rodriguez's day is done. Double switch for the Phils. Luis Garcia is coming in. Brock Stassi is part of a double switch as he will take over at first base, and Luis Garcia will pick up his 14th game, 1-0 with a 2.51 earned run average. He's on for Joely Rodriguez, and he'll face JT Realmuto. Well, the Phils are in desperate need of somebody to go a couple innings here. They've already used Mark Leiter in relief of Velasquez. They've used Joely Rodriguez, and now Luis Garcia. And JT Realmuto fouls the 97-mile-an-hour fastball away. 1-0. Or 0-1, I should say. Garcia has been used primarily in the 6th and 7th innings for the Phillies. He's leaked to the 5th inning a few times because the starters haven't gone that deep. He made one start in the minor leagues this year for Lehigh Valley. It was only a 2-inning stint. Check swing by Realmuto. And Corey says no swing this time.
Corey.
Corey's going to be hearing Doug Eddings yell his name while he's sleeping tonight.
Sure, hey, Corey might be able to return the favor tomorrow. Doug Eddings is at third. Corey's behind the dish.
Fly ball left field. It's not deep. Kendrick comes running in, makes the catch, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We have completed 4. We'll go to the 5th. 7-1. Marlins on top. Giants, it's a 135 first pitch, and all fans 14 and under will receive the Maikel Franco batting gloves, compliments of Tasty Cake. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today. Phillies fans getting a chance to see their ball club here in South Florida. They're either transplants or they're just down visiting. Beautiful place to visit. the games haven't been as beautiful. Michael Saunders will lead it off. Saunders, Ty Kelly, Freddie Galvis. 1 ball, no strikes. Will this be, how many years in a row have you attended the home run derby / all-star game? Have you been there? You've been there.
Been a while. I don't know if I was there last year. Was I there last year?
In San Diego?
I don't think I was.
You weren't? 2-0. They'll host the all-star game here. It's the first time.
I won't be here for this one either.
No?
No.
Well,
for what?
You're only living 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, but for what?
The love of the game.
No.
Ground ball to first. Boers got it. The Marlins will host the all-star game. It's the first time in Miami that they will do so. That leaves only one team left to host a game that's never hosted before, or one city, that is Tampa. Tampa has not hosted.
You think they'll ever get a new ballpark in Tampa?
I think that's what they're probably holding it out for. Ty Kelly wraps one out towards center. 2 outs. And here's Freddie Galvis. Washington will host it next year, but the city of Washington, D.C. has hosted before. They hosted in '69 at RFK when the Senators were the team.
Ball outside.
1 ball, no strikes to Galvis.
What's their lease in Tampa? It's like the 20.
It's still extensive.
28 or something, 20 something like that. I mean, it's a while. They've been trying to get out of it, I hear,
and possibly move a team back to Montreal. Possibly, as Galvis fouls it away. '27 is when the lease is up with Tampa. Might have to do a buyout.
They let them.
2-2 to Galvis.
Like, is there not a place in the United States you can put a team?
I think there are cities that would put their hand up. San Antonio, Nashville, Portland. Freddie Galvis pulls it foul.
Charlotte.
Charlotte would be would put their hand up. Two balls, 2 strikes to Galvis, and he's down on strikes. And the Phils go down in order. Phillies have 2 hits tonight, 1 run. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Marlins 7 and the Phillies 1. Citizens Bank Minor League Report. Citizens Bank, the official bank of the Phils. Visit citizensbank.com. Well, the Phillies Minor League Players of the Week, Nick Fante is the pitcher of the week. 12 innings, 18 strikeouts. Nick Williams, who was the International League Player of the Week, is the Phillies Player of the Week. 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. So congratulations to those guys for winning that award. Fante is a left-handed pitcher who overall is 4-0 with a 1.52 ERA for Lakewood. He was the 31st round pick by the Phillies in 2015, so he's just 20 years old. Dietrich hits it in the air to left field, not deep. Kendrick is there. One away here in the 5th. And JT Riddle will stand in. Swing and a miss. Good fastball at 97.
That caught JT Riddle by surprise.
Just the jump on it.
Well, if he'd have hit it, the Marlins dugout had to scatter.
2. I mentioned last night that Riddle may stay as the starting shortstop once Adeiny Echeverria comes back. The Marlins feel like with Riddle and with Brian Anderson, 24-year-old out of the University of Arkansas, that they have a pretty good left side for the future. You know, once Prado is done. Anderson is only hitting .233 right now in Double-A with 7 home runs and 32 runs batted in. But they still think that he will develop into a very good major league player. 1-2 pitch coming to JT Riddle. 2-2.
I mean, if they want to give Prado away, I'd take him, wouldn't you?
I think a lot of teams would line up. I thought when Prado went to the Yankees that he would be there for a good while. Over to first, and Brock Stassi on the back end. 2 outs. Have you checked out CSN's podcasts? Break down Eagles OTAs with the Quick Slants podcast, or get insider info on the Phils with the Crutcast and At the Yard. Subscribe now on Apple, Google Play, or csnphilly.com. McGowan bats here in the 5th inning. Career numbers for McGowan. McGowan gave it an effort, but it's a 1-2-3 inning for Luis Garcia. His fastball has been moving. We'll go to the 6th inning. Brock Stassi is due to lead things off for the Phils when we come back. Chiefs offense for Pete Maccannon's lineup. Tommy's production in the month of May keeps on growing with a career best in RBIs during a month. Also reaching a career best in home runs for the month. The revival of his power swing has been a welcomed addition. Joseph has brought the consistency, brought the power, and finally added walk-off to his resume. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, those two walk-offs for Tommy Joseph have really been the bright spot for the Phils, not only the last couple of weeks, but I think you could say in the month of May.
Yeah, the two walk-offs and Howie Kendrick coming back.
That's a good point. Kendrick is homered tonight, has 2 hits in the series on what has been a very dismal couple of games for the Phils down here in South Florida. Brock Stassi will lead it off. Stassi came on as part of a double switch for Tommy Joseph. As we begin the 6th inning, Ichiro takes over in right field. This is the 2,430th game in Ichiro's career. As the pitch is low, 2,543 games now for Ichiro, which moves him into 47th place in baseball history. That ties him with Jim Thome and Ivan Rodriguez.
Hats off.
Big time.
Hats off to Jim Thome.
There's Ramos warming up.
Former Philly great Jim Thome.
That's right. 2-1. Now works for the White Sox, but as a statue in Cleveland.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Cesar's on deck.
It's not my way, it's baseball's way. Clyde McCullough. Every time he would instruct us in the minor leagues. Boys, it's not my way, it's baseball's way.
Well, would you guys question him at all about certain things?
No, I was dumber than a box of rocks, so I didn't say anything. I was trying to figure it out myself.
Well, you remembered it, though. It's not my way, it's baseball's
Clyde.
way.
The late Clyde McCullough, great man. Bobby Tolan was our manager. Or no, Bobby Tolan was our hitting coach.
Clyde McCullough, when he died, he was 65 in 1982. And if you look at some of the pictures of him on the internet, his baseball cards are all like paintings. That's how long ago he played.
Yeah.
Stassi flies one out towards shallow center. Yelich is coming in casually. And one away. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. Who holds the Marlins record for most times hit by a pitch in one season, John?
Well, Derek Dietrich, and I wouldn't have gotten that until you said someone wanted to punch him or hit him again, because I'm sure Freddie was like, what the heck? He won't look down at a sign.
That is correct. 26 or 24 times in 2016. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. That was so long ago in this game when the bases were loaded and Dietrich wasn't sure that he should look down at the signs.
You know, you're hitting 227. You might want to take a peek down there every once in a while.
0-2. Dub will get himself loose. He is going to play tomorrow, Pete said today.
Looked like he's getting ready to get in this one.
Might play tonight.
Well, it could be double switch maybe if Howie makes the last out.
Two outs. Well, he's not alone, but Cesar's had a rough night following that strikeout. And now Howie Kendrick, who homered to center field his first time up. Over to the third base line. McGowan bare hands throws, and it's wide of Bohr. Nice backup by D. Gordon. I would think that is the second hit.
Yeah, tough play by McGowan. Look at the big fella with the belly flop trying to get after that one. They give it a hit.
Nothing yet.
I think they flashed error.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Things aren't going right. They're not going right.
Apparently the official scorekeeper thought that was an easy play when he was making it. We can't catch a dang break. My gosh. Let someone hit a home run, see if they can get overruled too. The heck.
Down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't think that was the easiest play with the bare hand and the sprinting by Howie Kendrick. He was putting heat on the pitcher to get down there. Runner goes, pitches hit in the air to center field. And Yelich does not have to move that far as he settles under it. No runs, no hits. There was 1 error and 1 man left. On to the bottom of the 6th inning. 7-1 Marlins on top. Mason. Who about WB Mason for fast free delivery? Nobody does it better. And by Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota. Let's go places. Andres Blanco will take over at second base for the Phillies as part of a double switch. And And Ramos will take over on the mound and will bat at Cesar Hernandez's spot. Ramos 0-3 with a 3.54 earned run average. Hey, not for nothing, but Luis Garcia, his inning in the third was the best thing that's happened tonight for the Phils. 4 batters faced, 4 batters retired. As D. Gordon takes strike 1. Gordon just took a peek at the home plate umpire. Same kind of swing that started that rally in the third, where Gordon reached base safely. Punches it out towards shortstop. Galvis hurries, backhands, throws on the run, not in time. Freddie did everything he could to get D. Gordon, but his speed has given him a couple base hits here tonight.
Yeah, great play by Freddie right here, but really nothing he can do. I mean, he gets a great jump on this ball. He's going as fast as he can. A great transfer, a strong throw to Brock Stassi, allowing a lower throws, allowing Brock to stretch. But D. Gordon, nothing you can do. They give that a hit.
They did give that a hit, yeah.
Shocking.
56 infield hits now for the Marlins this year, which is tops in baseball. As Ichiro takes outside 1-0.
D. Gordon hasn't bunted yet, and he's got 2 hits that haven't left the infield. Grass.
Oh, to have that speed.
It wasn't bad, I tell you.
You used it a lot?
Yeah, only when I had to. Luckily, they haven't had to yet.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Ichiro. And Ichiro is down on strikes. 1 out here in the 6th inning. Ichiro is batting where Stanton was, and Stanton provides us with our Toyota turning point.
Got a fastball, Mark Leiter running in on him, and like I said, it looked like he backed off of that one and hit it out to right. That's our Toyota turning point.
Well, that inning, that was a 5-run inning for the Marlins after they had scored 2 in the second. Vince Velasquez left in the 2nd inning with a flexor pronator strain. Outside 2-0. Over to second base. That might be 2. There's 1 and 2. 4-6-3 double play. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. 6 in the books here in Miami. As we go to the top of the 7th inning, Blanco will start things off for the Phils. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary. Well, this has not been a pretty ball game for the Phillies. We've kind of said that a lot over the last month or so. Vince Velasquez left with a right elbow strain after an inning and a third. He allowed 2 runs, 1 earned. Mark Leiter took over from there and allowed 5 runs to score. Howie Kendrick has one of the 2 hits for the Phils. That was a home run back in the 4th inning. Giancarlo Stanton is 14th. Nicolino, the starter for the Marlins, well, he left after not allowing a hit through 3. He injured his index finger on a bunt. So then McGowan came on, and McGowan was able to pitch 3 innings, and now it's Brian Ellington who will take over. This is the 7th game for Ellington. As Andres Blanco will lead things off. It'll be Blanco, Cameron Rupp, and Saunders. First pitch is fouled at the plate by Andres.
Back in a couple hitters. I just dropped my pen.
You want us to get somebody to get it for you? I'll get it for you. Whoop.
I got it. Watch your head. Just headbutted me. SmackDown Tuesday, WWE, and I just got headbutted.
1 ball and 1 strike to Blanco.
Might have to go on the DL.
Outside. You gonna take a couple days off?
See you next month.
2-1 to Blanco. When do we see you again? After tomorrow. Well, after tomorrow.
Oh, I don't know.
Get some podcasts going.
Boston home.
Boston home.
Yeah.
Blanco loses his bat. It bounced off a seat and then into the dugout. It hit Saunders when it went back into the dugout, but he's okay. Fortunately, it did not hit anybody in the stands. It hit a chair. I believe she may have lost her dinner. Saunders tried to dive to get out of the way. He missed it the first time, and then it got him the second time. Look out, Michael.
I missed him. See? Reflexes. All right, the next homestand is
San Francisco this weekend, but then after that, we're on the road, and then, yeah, it's back with the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's when I'm back.
And Blanco is down on strikes. And 1 away. It'll bring Cameron Rupp to the plate. Yeah, the Phillies have 2 against Boston, up in Boston.
Yeah.
And then 2 at home.
Well, that natural rivalry.
That's it. Natural rivalry.
Red Sox, Phillies. It's, you know, it's been heated over the years.
I will say that I think we've enjoyed going to Boston, Baltimore the most when it comes to the quote unquote natural rivalries for the Phillies. We don't have Baltimore anymore because the Nationals came to town some years ago. Yeah. I used to like when the fans.
I like going to Fenway. Booth is huge. You know,
it is a little tiny booth.
Well, I don't go there this year, but by next year, if I have to go there, I'll make sure I lose some weight so we can fit.
All right, let's do that.
You might want to join me.
I was thinking about it.
30 each. What do you think?
I think I got to do more than 30.
Wow.
To start, you mean?
By the next time we go to Boston.
We could do that.
You only got a couple weeks. I got like a year and a few weeks.
I don't think I can get 30 off in 2 weeks.
Lipo, baby.
I might be able to get 15 off in 2 weeks. You know, it's water weight.
Yeah. Yeah. That is water weight.
0-2 pitch coming to Cameron Rupp.
I think I got half the Gulf of Mexico in me right now.
Well, Well, 2 outs as Rupp goes down looking, and here comes Saunders.
Water. Wait, what are you retaining water or something? Something we should know.
Saunders has bounced back to the mound. He's also grounded out to first. On the outside corner, 0-1.
Now I have to lose weight by August.
Why?
Well,
you have a wedding to go to or something?
No, I don't do those things anymore. I don't have any friends. I don't really like a lot of people, so I don't get invited to nothing no more. But
people are going to start inviting you now.
No, I won't go. Every year.
Old-timers game?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Every year at the reunion thing, I make a promise that I'm going to lose weight before I have to put on the jersey.
Right.
Every year I have to call Phil Sheridan and say, Phil, I want to up it. You know, I started out at 48. Now I'm at 52. So
I think you can get into a 50 now. What do you think?
Well, yeah, if I don't breathe, if I don't exhale.
So the goal is to get to a size 48 jersey by August. Is that what your goal is?
50. No, they already made up the 50. I don't want to disappoint Phil. Plus, I don't want to rush into anything stupid. Quit eating, but.
1 ball and 1 strike to Saunders.
I tell you, I was doing good till I was around you guys. You guys eat unhealthy.
We really do. Saunders is down on strikes. We haven't visited a taste of Miami just yet.
There
Time
we
to
go.
stretch.
I could use a good taco.
Talked about is coming up June 14th and 15th. You can get your tickets to see the Phils and the Red Sox by going to Phillies.com. Red Sox during this stretch of 15 games is the only team that's above 500 that the Phillies will face. There you go, John. Get yourself a Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
Made fresh here at Marlins Park as part of the Taste of Miami.
That man's quick.
Yes, he is. That's like cheesesteaks in Philadelphia. We start the bottom of the 7th inning, and Marcell Ozuna greets Ramos with a high pop to the right of home plate. Boy, that was not an easy play, but Cameron Rupp made it look very comfortable. One out. Time now for our GMC Precision Play. You just saw Rupp look it up at the roof. It looked like he had it from the get-go, but it just kept on drifting on him.
Yeah, it drifted on him, and I know someone said something to him, and he pointed like the lights or something. Hey, this isn't bad though, because this ceiling's dark.
Yeah, it's a darker gray, which the players have said it makes it easier to pick up the baseball.
Montreal was bad.
It was white, right?
Houston, the Astrodome was bad. Astrodome was like the panel right behind home was darker, and then the side ones were lighter, and then there was darker and then lighter. But man, when they used to get in them light ones, especially a day game when the sun was shining, because it became brighter.
Was that the worst stadium you played in? The Astrodome, or was the Olympic Stadium? Or hardest stadium, I should say?
Probably the Astrodome. Was outfield wise.
The other thing too is they say that turf was not forgiving at all at the Astrodome.
No. And then they're like the Green Mile walking down to like from the clubhouse to the field.
Garbage everywhere.
Well, and rats chasing cats.
Huh. Well, this place is beautiful. 76 degrees inside. For those of us who have been here a lot to see games, I think the chance to see an all-star game sold out. It's going to be interesting just to hear how it sounds. It was really loud during the World Baseball Classic and with a couple of soccer matches that have been played here. But these guys have never really drawn to the point where it's a home field advantage. Ball 4. Bohr walks. Every time the Phillies retire, Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Real Muto 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored, RBI. Little tapper. Freddie will have one play. Boy, Real Muto does run pretty well for a catcher.
Yeah, he's a good athlete.
And by the way, that's a fantastic play by Freddie Galvis.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can say about Freddie is his defense has been as good as any shortstop in the National League. You know, he knows too that Real Muto runs quick. You know, most catchers you can try to get your feet set, but not with Real Muto running.
Pete was saying that the other day with all the issues the Phillies have had, and there have been a number of them this year. He said the defense that Freddie Galvis has put together is a real bright spot once again for the Phils. Oh, 1 pitch now to Dietrich. They'll get back into the seats.
Yeah, I was watching a Mets Marlins game earlier this year because I love watching Syndergaard pitch. And Dietrich's numbers are like unbelievable against Syndergaard.
Isn't it amazing how some guys just can connect against others? Some pitchers that nobody else can hit or consistently hit, they have no problems with. Derek Dietrich against Syndergaard, 5 for 13 with 2 doubles.
That ain't bad.
He has the highest batting average against Syndergaard than any other starter the Mets put out. Dietrich swings and misses that one. It kicks off the shin guard of Cameron Rupp, and everybody is safe. That'll be a strikeout wild pitch.
It's a tough pitch, right? Looked like it hit off the thumb of Cameron's glove. Kicked away. That ball backed up on him because it was a slider. It had that spin that's going to go to Cameron's left. And now, you know, 2 outs, strikeout. You know, Riddle's going to get a hit. It's the way it's been going.
Cameron keeps that one in front. Runners do not advance, even though Dietrich's not being held on. He is not apt to go to second base. And a strike 3 called. Riddle's down looking. He did not think so. No runs, no hits, and 2 men left. We'll move to the 8th inning. The Phils down by 6. Ty Kelly will lead it off. Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by McDonald's. Now at McDonald's, an ice cold delicious soft drink is only $1. I'm loving it. Phillies trail at 7-1. It's time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game. Freddie Galvis has made a couple really good plays today, attempts today, but this one was fantastic against Real Muto.
Yeah, D. Gordon beat one out about the same play, but this one here against JT Real Muto, Freddie with an unbelievable play and a great strong throw. That is our Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Oh, there is Freddie. He will bat second behind Ty Kelly. First pitch outside, 1-0. Outside, 2-0. It is a wider strike zone as this game's gone on, but it's been rather consistent by Doug Eddings.
Hold outside.
You always hoped as an umpire, as a hitter, that, and I'm sure as a pitcher, that if it's a strike in the first inning, is it going to be a strike in the ninth inning? And that's all you ask.
Ball 4.
And outside, ball 4. So the Phillies' first base runner, aside from the error in the 6th inning, since the 4th. Time to get updated on what's going on around baseball. Here's Greg Murphy.
All right, thank you, Tom. Our unlimited baseball break presented by T-Mobile. And former presidential candidate and former Florida Governor Jeb Bush has removed his name from the group that is trying to buy these Miami Marlins. That, according to several reports today. He was, of course, part of that group that also includes Derek Jeter. And they were said to be the front runners in getting the Miami Marlins for about $1.3 billion. But Bush has pulled his name out of that group. And Derek Jeter has said that he is still very much interested in buying the team. He will try to continue moving forward with other investors. And the suspensions have come down. Part of that, the brawl between the Nationals and the Giants, Hunter Strickland and Bryce Harper, both getting suspended today. Hunter Strickland getting 6 games, Bryce Harper getting 4. Both were also fined an undisclosed amount of money, and they're both also appealing those suspensions. So nothing will happen until those appeals have been heard. But Hunter Strickland getting the 6 games, which as a relief pitcher probably means he'll miss about 2 games that he would have pitched in. Bryce Harper will get the 4 games for his part in that brawl. Guys,
you wonder if Major League Baseball will chip it down for both of those guys, because we've seen brawls before. John, you've been involved in brawls before. That's one of the first ones where there were punches landed. Yeah,
I mean, there didn't look like some guys on the Giants were aggressively wanting to participate in that fight.
No, it was a little late.
Here's the thing. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind that it was intentional. I just hate. I think if Bryce wouldn't have took the helmet out there, and even though he threw it wildly, I don't think he would have gotten 4 games. But I think it's a joke that a position player has to stand there and take a fastball off the hip, and the only way he can get back at anyone is to charge him out. And the pitcher gets 6 games who's a reliever who might get 3 innings.
Right.
And the Washington Nationals now are going to miss Bryce Harper for 20 to 25 at bats. It's just not fair. Suspend the pitcher for if it's a reliever, suspending for 10 games. Starter, make him miss 2 starts. If you're going to make a position player miss 4 games, you should make their position, whether it's a reliever or starter, miss the same amount.
I thought maybe they would double up Strickland to Harper. 4 for, let's say if they get 4 for Harper, 8 for Strickland. Galvis takes outside, 3-2.
It just blows my mind that a hitter, the only way he can protect himself is to charge him out.
Well, Harper will be in the lineup tonight when Jeff Samardzija faces Gio Gonzalez. And Samardzija was in the middle of all that too, coming off the bench.
Notre Dame football flashback, I think. He nailed his own guy too.
Freddie Galvis hits that one foul, knocked down by the ball boy. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And back-to-back walks now by Ellington has put 2 runners on for the Phils. And Brock Stassi is coming up. By the way, Larry Bow and Don Mattingly go back a long ways as coaches. We talked about Dietrich not going anywhere when the ball went off the chest protector of Cameron Rupp. Well, he did run on that last pitch to JT Riddle. And normally in this kind of a game where it's 7-1 and the first baseman's playing back like that, you don't see a base runner take it off. Well, Larry Bowa was not happy about it, and he let Don Mattingly and Derek Dietrich know by barking from one side of the field to the other. Now, there was a moment where Dietrich pounded his chest and looked at Bo and said, my bad.
My bad. But that seems to be the that gets me out of anything. My bad.
But I'll tell you, anybody who doesn't think that Larry Bowa is not engaged from start to finish of a ball game. I mean, his antenna went up right away.
But there's nothing that would tell you that 6 outs the Phillies can score 6 runs to tie this game.
Very true.
Nothing in the first 2 games would tell you that.
Right.
But this could be something that we'll find out tomorrow if this team is engaged in this thing, because you know there's going to be something talked about. And I know Donnie will talk to Larry tomorrow and they'll try to work it out or whatever, but you know, it gives you a reason now to
get fired up a little bit.
Yeah. Just you know, okay, now we have a guy on the team who we hate just because he did one thing.
Outside corner, 1-1 for Stassi. Stassi on the year is hitting .200. He has 12 hits and 60 at-bats.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how things play out tomorrow. Who we got pitching for us tomorrow?
Aaron Nola.
Interesting.
Odubel Herrera waits on deck.
But I know Larry by having had him as a manager and a coach, and it might not be, you know, let's drill this guy, let's get into a fight type of deal, but I guarantee you these guys are going to know not only are they kicking your rear ends, now they're trying to embarrass you, and that they embarrassed you tonight by that. He's telling you, what are you going to do? He said we have that, and that Larry's going to get really fired up the longer he sits in there, and I guarantee you that's going to be told to the players that, you know, it's one thing getting your rear ends kicked because you're trying, but now they're trying to embarrass you.
Well, 3 straight walks by Ellington, and that'll bring Odubel Herrera to the plate as a pinch hitter. Now, in the grand scheme of baseball, the Phillies haven't scored a whole lot of runs, but they are down, I don't want to say just 6, but baseball's changed over the years.
I understand.
So Don Mattingly's thinking, oh man, I may have to get my key guys up in the bullpen.
And maybe that's what the, I mean, what is 6 different than 7?
All right, Whitgren has been warming up in the pen.
He went to him.
So Ellington will be lifted from the game, and Whitgren is coming in a bases loaded situation. 7-1 Miami on top of the Phils. Implemented that with 3 walks here in the 8th inning, and now his day is done, and he'll give way to Nick Whitgren, and he's responsible for those 3 runners on base. So Whitgren in his 16th game, an ERA of 3.15. He has 20 strikeouts in 20 innings. He pitched in yesterday's ball game. And he will face Odubel Herrera. Odubel coming off the bench. He'll bat for the pitcher in this spot. All right, so it's been a 9-inning game, and the first 7 innings of tonight's game for Odubel to sit and watch. Bases loaded, in the first pitch to Odubel Herrera. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, maybe Dietrich had a premonition.
Maybe. Phillies get an extra base hit here. He might sit there and say, I should have gone earlier. 2-0. All right, so plate discipline has been one of the keys that they're trying to get into the head of Odubel Herrera. Those first 2 pitches, and I know that the first 2 pitches have been at bat. He's laid off. He's taken all the way, looked them both into the glove. And now you hope that he can find that pitch he can drive ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. It wasn't a bad pitch to hit.
No, but it was an overswing.
Yeah.
Trying to hit a grand slam to 90 miles an hour too. So it wasn't like it was blown by him, but it was just to pull off. I'm going to try to pull this and hit a grand slam swing.
To try to erase all the issues.
Yeah, it doesn't do it too. I've tried. Even if you hit a home run,
that one's out toward left field. Ozuna backpedaling, makes the catch. Tagging from third is Ty Kelly. So Odubel will get an RBI. It's a 7-2 ball game. As Kelly crosses the plate, 1 out here in the 8th. A little positive reinforcement for Odubel Herrera. Howie Kendrick has homered tonight. He's also reached on an error.
should have been a hit.
Hector Neris warming in the bullpen. It's another one of those situations where I think Pete feels like he has to get him into the game. One ball, two strikes. Boy, that ball was jumping on Kendrick at 93 miles an hour. A little bit of a crossfire action by Whitgren.
Yeah, a little bit of a, not as much as some we've seen recently, but still a crossfire. It's, I mean, really good swings that we've had off of him, both Odubel and now Howie.
1-2 strikes to Kendrick. Just a bit low, 2-2. Now that's the same spot where Mark Leiter had a ball called that forced in a run earlier, or close to the same spot. Yeah,
that's way down.
Now he's staying alive. Out toward right field. Ichiro on the run. Out toward the track. Makes the catch. Tagging is Galvis. He'll go to third. Boy, Howie Kendrick really put a charge into that one. Unfortunately, this is a bigger ballpark than some.
Is that out at Citizens Bank?
I think it's.
Or off the wall, maybe?
I think it's either off the wall or it's gone.
Just got in a little bit.
I would think off the wall. All right, here's Altair with 2 away here in the 8th inning. Altair is grounded out. He is singled to left field, and he is flied out to center field. It is 3 ABs. Close pitch, 2-1.
It's amazing how 8 innings into the game they've strung together some really good at bats.
That's a good point. I mean, the 3 walks to start it, but even beyond that, there, 3-2. That's outside.
Not even close. I mean, my gosh, you spit on that one. That's a ball out of the hand.
Stassi goes, and a swing and a miss. Whitgren does get the strikeout to finish up the 8th inning, as Aaron Altair leaves a couple. Phillies do get one. Will leave for the bottom of the 8th. 7-2 Marlins. games coming up here at Citizens Bank Park. $100. It includes 4 tickets, 4 Hatfield hot dogs, and 4 Coca-Colas. Go to Phillies.com to check out which weekend dates qualify. By the way, those 2 youngsters right there feeling pretty good about themselves. Howie Kendrick just tossed a baseball into the crowd. Their dad caught it for them. They've been sitting there waiting to try to get some action, and they finally did. Here's Hector Neris into his 24th game. And Neris.
Charlie Blackmon, by the way, was NL Player of the Week.
Really should be.
Did it shock you?
We got a chance to see him for 4 games. He struck out a few times in the last game of that series, but that is a good player. Up and in to Tyler Moore. Talked today about Neris, how he's got on top of his splitter a little bit more, and that's why he's been effective. Now there, that splitter ran inside. Two and 2 to Tyler Moore. Tyler Moore, who we first saw with the Washington Nationals. And he's making his way through the National League East. 6 hits and 27 at bats for the Marlins. Now, there are 4 kids up in that section, and they just got a chance to fight for a ball. His night is made. He got it. His night is made. He left the other 3 at his dust. Oh, there's a good split right there. A little bit quicker one, and Neris picks up a strikeout to start the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, he still left that ball a little up. But
yeah, he did. Look at the replay.
For a split, but still better than the other ones that were belt high. That was just a little above the knee high.
D. Gordon takes outside. Gordon has 2 infield hits.
2 rockets.
1 to third.
What, Kelly and Freddie are the bravest people in the world to jump up in front of those missiles.
Thought maybe Freddie would short up a little bit more at shortstop. Two balls and no strikes to Gordon. Vance Worley in the bullpen.
Former Philly great Vance Worley.
Traded to the Twins in the Ben Revere deal. 3-0. D. Gordon, whose dad, Flash, pitched for the Phils. His uncle, Pork Chop Pugh, played for the Indians and the Red Sox. One of my favorite guys in the minor leagues, Johnny.
Who's that?
Pork Chop Pugh. Outfielder, first baseman, hit some massive home runs in the minor leagues.
Can't say I remember him.
Just made it to the big leagues for a cup of coffee.
Love the nickname, though.
Oh yeah, Clyde Pork Chop Pugh. And ball 4. So Neris walks D. Gordon. He's been on base 3 times. And here comes Ichiro. Phillies are behind the 8-ball early with Vince Velasquez going out with a right elbow strain. And he didn't pitch it. He didn't finish the second inning tonight. And Ichiro takes a strike, 0-1. Two. Some people wonder if Ichiro would go back and play another year in Japan before he called it quits.
Those are some fancy shoes he's sporting.
Yep. Little neon. He's down on strikes. Those shoes went spinning. Well, that split. 2 strikeouts for Hector Neris. Ichiro thought that was a foul ball, maybe.
That or he doesn't strike out a whole lot. He was shocked. I think he foul tipped it, and he didn't know if Cameron caught it or not. See that he did.
Ichiro has struck out twice tonight.
Should have started him.
Yeah. Two and one. Yelich today has doubled and scored a run. He is 1 for 4. Hit into a double play his last time up. On a ground ball to Andres Blanco at second.
Onside.
3-1. Thrown some good splits in this inning, some not so good.
Yeah, but when you're less than 2 strikes, you don't have to swing at it. You can take it, and those seems to be the ones he throws, the good ones that are down out of the strike zone.
D. Gordon will be off and running on this pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. Do it again as Gordon will come back toward first base.
Thanks, Michael.
Marlins win this one. That means they've won back-to-back series for the first time since April. We mentioned the Phillies last time they saw the Marlins, they took the 2 games.
That was the last series we won.
Yep. At that point, Phillies were 10-9. The Marlins were 10-10. As Yelich taps it foul. Three balls, 2 strikes. And another foul ball. Well, Yelich is getting his money's worth in this at bat.
D. Gordon getting his running in. Hopefully tire him out for tomorrow.
These are the kind of at bats, if you're a hitter, as you see pitch casts, these pitches are all over the place. They talk about not giving at bats away, and for Yelich, he's just trying not to give it at bat away here in a 7-2 game in a very quiet 8th inning here at Marlins Park. Runner goes, ball 4. After the ball game, stay tuned. Michael Barkan and Ben Davis are standing by for Phillies Post-Game Live. It's presented by Cure Auto Insurance. A lot to talk about, from the injury to Vince Velasquez to the inability of the Phillies offense to manage a whole lot. Again, that's all coming up on Phillies Post-Game Live. Cameron Rupp, Hector Neris having a conversation. And here's Marcell Ozuna. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts in this inning for Neris. 94 in the fastball to Ozuna. Tried to run that fastball to the same spot that Ozuna swung and missed the first one. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See if they go to the split here, try to get Ozuna to swing it. Bad pitch.
That one is back just in front of us and out of play. And it remains 1-2. Early start tomorrow. We'll be on at 1 o'clock on NBC 10. It'll be Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phils, Dan Straley on the mound for the Marlins. I think we've said this a lot. Phils will try to salvage the 3-game series. We've said it too much.
Yes, we have.
Fastball swung on and missed. 96 on that fastball from Neris. No runs, no hits, 2 men left for the Marlins. Phillies with 1 final chance as we go to the top of the 9th inning here at Marlins Park. Deliveries of the game, and unfortunately these deliveries belong to the Miami Marlins. Back in the 2nd inning, it begins with Marcell Ozuna going long.
Yeah, Marcell Ozuna got it started early. That was a long one, way up in the seats, out in left field. And after Vince Velasquez had to leave the game and Mark Leiter Jr. came in, Giancarlo Stanton doing what he does best, and that's hitting the ball out of the ballpark to basically put this game out of reach. And those are our deliveries of the game, brought to you by W.B. Mason.
All right, so Vance Worley will come on to pitch the 9th inning. Worley, the former Phil, will face Andres Blanco. And Vance delivers a strike. Andres 0 for 1 so far. He struck out his first time up and he fouls it away, so now it's quickly 0-2. Worley back in 2011 won 11 games for the Phils. He was 11-3 in 21 starts. Followed that up the next year with a 6-9 record before the Phillies traded him to Minnesota. It didn't work out in Minnesota. They traded him for Ben Revere. But in 14 he had a decent run with the Pirates, 8-4 with a low ERA. Was with Pittsburgh for a couple of years, then Baltimore last season, mostly out of the bullpen. There's a liner down the right field line by Blanco, and it's a foul ball.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Let's get out front of that a little bit too much. He's got a hook on him.
Ground ball to third. Dietrich has it. And 1 out here in the 9th inning. And Cameron Rupp will be the batter. Back in 2011, Vance finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year balloting with those 11 victories. I'll tell you, he was really good that season. Craig Kimbrell won the Rookie of the Year. Freddie Freeman finished 2nd. Wilson Ramos finished 4th. Cameron Rupp out toward left center field. Should be an easy play for Yelich, and it is. 2 outs. Well, Don Mattingly's team has struggled, as we mentioned, since the last time the Phillies faced them. But they've put together the series win against the Angels, and they're 1 out away from a series win here against the Phillies. Michael Saunders 0 for 3. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Fly ball left field. This is an easy inning for Vance Worley. He gets the Phils out on 8 pitches, and the Marlins have taken the first 2 games of this series. They win it by a final of 7-2. Now, the struggles of the Philadelphia Phillies continue here in South Florida. It seems like each time the Phillies face a team that's struggling, that team somehow gets themselves right. Our Chevrolet player of the game, Marcell Ozuna, it was his first hit against the Phils this year, the home run, and then he followed it up with a couple of singles. And again, he is our Chevrolet player of the game. So Don Mattingly's team wins at 7-2. The Phils will try to salvage it tomorrow with the final game of the series. We'll be back to wrap this one up, though, right after this.